Make sure you're around when the bond comes due. You're going to be in this business for a long, long time. And it's not about what you do today. It's about where you're going tomorrow.
We recognize genius wherever it exists. And if you're known by the company you keep, we are proud to not only spotlight the women that are part of Rockefeller Capital Management's unique network, but also welcome our brilliant audience members.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kristen Sario, Divisional Director of Rockefeller Global Family Office's Southeast Division, and welcome back to Genius Loves Company. Everyone has a story to tell, and we're excited to hear those from some of Rockefeller's top private advisors, investors, senior leaders, and women in our broader network about the life and career experiences that got them here and the insights and the perspectives that they've gained along the way. With me today is Terri Ucci, one of Rockefeller's top private advisors. She brings decades of experience to her role as managing director of Ucci Wealth Partners based in Chicago, Illinois. To her clients, Terri is a counselor, a confidant, a personal CFO. She focuses on developing innovative, customized financial strategies for her diverse group of clients. Welcome, Terri.
Thank you.
So, Terri, you have a great story, and I want to start right at the beginning. So where were you born? And tell me about where you grew up.
So I was born in Chicago at a very early age. My parents were divorced, and so we moved to Elmwood Park with my grandmother. Elmwood Park is a very Italian suburb of Chicago, and reside with my two sisters, my mom and my grandmother, and a very extended Italian family.
I have a soft spot for Chicago. I didn't spend a lot of time growing up there, but I did spend some time in Chicago, and I have a lot of family up there. I love that city. So great to have you today. We're going to go into so many different topics, but let's start with money. So what are some of your earliest memories of money?
So when I was 6 years old, I got a job sweeping the floors of a small business. It was a lady that had a beauty shop, and she wanted all of the floors always swept nice and clean and the rollers put in the proper trays. And so she would pay me on a weekly basis. I would go there maybe 3 or 4 times a week. And she would pay me, and she would put the money in a little envelope and seal it. Down the block was the local bank, and my uncle was a teller. So my mom used to walk me down the block on Saturdays so I could deposit the money, and they would stamp my book with my deposit, and I would have a running total. And everybody thought that was just the cutest thing. My uncle was the teller, so nobody said anything. That was my first recollection of the concept of a portfolio. And just through the years, everything I did in school, in college, everything was centered around math and money.
So you caught me when you said 6 years old. So you started working in some form and having an understanding of money and depositing money at 6 years old. I'm actually really impressed that you had a work ethic at that level at 6 years old. I try to get my 11-year-old to take out the trash on Sunday nights, like just to the curb, and it's a fight. So I'm really impressed by that. So you mentioned receiving your CPA, and you did this right after college. So what motivated you to get your CPA?
When I went to college, I was not 1,000% positive what I wanted to do. And so I had a triple major.
By the way, most people don't triple major when they don't know what to do. So let's just stop right there. You have to tell me triple major in what?
So accounting,
Okay.
business, and management.
Okay. A lot of different directions.
Yes.
All somewhat aligned. I'm impressed.
So broad-based enough. So I knew it would be something in finance. And so I loved accounting, and I specifically loved tax. The direction was to take the CPA exam. So I did. My first career job was as an auditor, and I became extremely specialized in a very short period of time. But somebody said to me, when you're most happiest in your job is when you should make a change. So I did. And I became an accountant, and I hated it. One of my responsibilities, which took about 5% of my time, was to invest their portfolio. And so I hired a Merrill advisor, and the Merrill advisor said, "You don't need me, you could do this yourself." Okay. And he said, "Have you ever thought about interviewing and becoming a financial advisor?" And I thought, oh, that's not possible. All the schooling, everything that's already transpired. So I thought about it. And the next time I saw him, I'm going to set up an interview with you. I really think you should try it. And so I did. And the rest is history.
You said that someone told you when you're at your happiest to make a change. And it's interesting. I don't know that I've ever heard when you're at your happiest, but somebody once told me when you're really comfortable and you have a really good cadence, it means you've outgrown that position. And when you said that, I thought that was kind of the same advice I got at one point. When you're too comfortable and you've got too much of a cadence, you've become almost bored in your own role and you need to expand and challenge yourself. Something else you said is that it took one person to say something to you to lead you to a career change. So I was going to ask you what inspired you to change careers from audit and accounting into essentially wealth management. And it sounds like it was just one person saying something that led you to that interview. Anything else that inspired you to kind of make a career change?
I became so specialized in such a short period of time that my opportunities would be limited. And being that young, I wanted to see what was out there. And honestly, I really did not have the full grasp of what a financial advisor was. It sounded so glamorous to me. I just thought, I'm very young. I could always go back to my stated field. Everybody knew me. I was widely understood. And so I thought, I'm going to go for it.
Well, and with triple majoring, you have a lot more options than most people as well. But you navigated a number of different career paths, and it sounds like you were very successful in all of these. So what advice from your experience would you give young people who are just looking to jumpstart their professions?
I think it's really imperative to keep all avenues open. Determine what your passion is. My passion is numbers, always has been, always will be. And so I knew that that was going to be my path. And the experience being an auditor, I loved the flexibility and the newness of working with different people. So as far as new people that are starting out in their careers, or really anybody in life, I think you have to really identify what your passion is, keep doors open, be open to new experiences, and understand that it's going to take a lot of hard work, whatever your choice is, and you're not an island. There's always going to be people that are going to mentor you, that are going to be by your side, and you need to really embrace that.
So many different things that I just picked up that you said. One is what you're passionate about. And I think about that, like what makes you tick? What makes your heart beat just a little bit faster? And if that's what's happening to you on a day-by-day basis, maybe you lean into that, walk through open doors and keep all these different doors open. I think that's great. Don't get so isolated in your thoughts and the direction you think you're going to go. And then you're not on an island. I've never heard it said exactly like that before, but this idea that you're not out there doing it and figuring it out on your own. You have a lot of mentors, sponsors, coaches, friends, family to help you along the way. So that's really great advice. Something else down the advice lane as a top advisor, tell me some of the most valuable pieces of financial advice that you've received throughout your life. Anything from childhood, anything in your professional career, but professional advice around finance.
So I started Merrill, and a couple months later, I got married. And a district manager at Merrill called me in his office the week after my wedding, which I was supposed to go on a honeymoon. And I was just terrified. I thought, oh my God, district manager's calling me in his office. I can't go on my honeymoon. So I postponed it. And I went in his office and he's like, Ucci, I heard all about you. And I said, I've heard about you. And he's like, you're a female advisor. I want to make sure that you understand it makes no difference whether you're male, female, you've got the same opportunities. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. He's like, you're going to need to calm down a little bit. So he said, I heard you just got married. And I said, yeah. And he goes, why aren't you on your honeymoon? I go, because you called me into your office. He said, you got to be kidding me. And he said, if I can give you one piece of advice, it's going to be this. Make sure you're around when the bond comes due. And he stopped talking and he just let that sink in. I've always thought about that. And what he was trying to say is that you're going to be in this business for a long, long time. And it's not about what you do today. It's about where you're going tomorrow. Same thing with your clients. They're going to be with you for a long, long time if you do the right thing. And that stuck with me forever. And I think it's valid today.
So always be around when the bond is due. And I do think that's great advice. It's not just about what's happening today, but it's also about, what the future has in store and being able to think forward. So talking about the business, what is the biggest change, the biggest transformation that you have seen in our industry throughout your career?
FinTech is probably the biggest opportunity that we can embrace for not only our roles as financial advisors, but also to be able to deliver enhanced reporting, information to the clients. However, what we can't lose sight of is the human touch. We have to make sure we stay connected with the clients because you have to understand we're dealing with their livelihoods. Can they retire comfortably? How do they pass on their wealth to the next generation? All of these aspects are so personal, and we can't lose sight of that.
Well, and if I think about it, anytime I've been excited, anytime I have been sad, anytime I've needed advice, I've never run to the computer in any emotional moment, positive or negative in my life. So I think the value that you add in that personal touch and discussion and feeling and understanding will never go away. But I agree completely. FinTech, even AI, these new things that are coming out add great value to how we process and deliver information. But no computer will ever be able to sit across the table and chat like we are right now. The financial services industry offers unique opportunities for growth and success, even though it can present certain challenges for mothers working to integrate both their professional and their family lives. And I know both you and I have experienced this in a lot of different ways throughout our career. As a working mother in this field, in our industry, can you share your insights on navigating some of the experiences you've had along the way?
There's no easy way around being successful in your career and being successful as a mother. It's really understanding what's most important to you. And I think anybody, female, male, can certainly have it all. It just takes a little bit of tweaking along the way. I also think it's really important to understand the value in people that you're surrounded by. Your teams, your managers, your directors. I've been so blessed to be able to have people around me that support that. And don't be afraid to ask for help. They say it takes a village to raise a child. I was very, very blessed with family. My son played hockey from the time he was 4. Any hockey mom knows that's a career in itself. And so you really have to take a little bit more time planning things. But again, it's all about the passion, and it's doable.
It is doable. And you used this phrase, like, have your cake and eat it too. And I have always said that a working professional mother can have her cake and eat it too, as well as a working professional father. You can have both. You can do both. You can be great at both. It's just like you said, it's leveraging everyone around you, your tribe, if you will, your community. It really does take a village, as you said. And I would agree with that completely. And you talk about being a hockey mom and that being a career in itself. I was just saying when we were walking over here, I think I got home after 8 o'clock last night from a beach volleyball tournament, hours and hours away, just to wake up this morning, unpack my suitcase, repack my suitcase, and make it up here to New York. So it's what we do, and we do it well. And I applaud both of us, quite frankly. So let's talk a little bit about you personally, and anybody who knows you is aware of your passion for live music. So tell me what some of your favorite bands are, or what is your favorite type of music that you love to listen to live?
I love all type of music, and I had a decision to make very early on. I love to dance. And when I was a junior in college, I had the opportunity to leave college and be a professional dancer. And we all know what road I chose, but dancing is my passion. I absolutely love R&B, jazz, disco. I am the disco bunny.
I love that. So you could have been a professional dancer. So I imagine you still dance today, even if it's in your kitchen with the broom?
Yes.
And that's great. So it sounds like you still do some dancing, but with your busy life, how else do you enjoy staying active?
Love spending time with my family. My son is a lieutenant in the Marines. Currently, he is deployed. He's in Okinawa. So that's very challenging right now. And my daughter is 24 years old, and she is now experiencing her first career job. And so my sisters, I have a very extended family, and we still keep the Italian tradition. Sundays, we try to get together and eat. It's a little challenging, but we try. I love to read, and it is not unusual for me to spend the weekend working because I really do enjoy it.
Well, it sounds like you know what is important to you and what you're passionate about, and I can see you beaming across the studio here. So finally, this is my absolute favorite question to ask, and we ask all of our guests on this show, but where can we find you at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning?
Zumba.
See, it's the whole dance thing because that has a very dance vibe to it. Okay, tell me more.
So Zumba, this is a collection of past dancers and very much focused on Latin style dancing. And we're anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. Several days during the week, but Saturday mornings is usually a group of people that have had some kind of experience in the past dancing. So it's our mantra, Saturday mornings, come hell or high water, we're there.
Well, that sounds exciting. I haven't done a Zumba class in so many years that I don't even think I can remember the last time I attempted one. But next time I'm in Chicago, you and I are going to do Zumba.
You got it.
It'll give you something to laugh about. I will do it proudly. But Terri, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your incredible story. And thank you to everyone for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Genius Loves Company. To learn more about Rockefeller Capital Management, visit rockco.com or keep up with us on LinkedIn or Instagram. This material was prepared by Rockefeller Capital Management. The views expressed of the hosts and guests in this episode are as of a particular point in time and are subject to change without notice. The views expressed by the speakers are solely their own and may differ from or conflict with those of other divisions in Rockefeller Capital Management. This information was provided for illustrative and educational purposes only. It should not be construed as an investment recommendation, investment advice, an offer of Rockefeller investment advisory or brokerage services, or a projection or illustration of the performance of any particular investment or strategy offered by Rockefeller. Forward-looking statements, including those presented herein, are inherently uncertain, as future events may differ materially from those reflected, and past performance is not a guarantee of future performance.